One of the things that irks me the most is when I have clients come to me and they tell me that they went to their gynecologist and their gynecologist praised them for eating a low-calorie diet and exercising every day. They then will proceed to tell them that they should take birth control to get their period back. It infuriates me. It literally infuriates me that medical professionals have like no idea about eating disorders or energy debt or low metabolic state or over exercising. I swear, even like female athlete triad, like they have no idea about this stuff, and they quickly just tell you that you should take birth control when birth control is not the solution. It is not even a solution, guys, because it doesn't fix you. Let's dive into this today. So I wrote a post on Instagram. You can follow me at @flowwithchlo. I'm there every single day, so it's a great way just to like be involved in the whole recovery community over there. But I posted this this post right here saying birth control is not the solution. And I proceeded to write that like 50 times, as much as I could on the page. Hope you get the point here. But let's dive into this. I do want to say that I just came out with an amazing podcast with Lauren, who is a prenatal nutritionist, and we talked about birth control on there and the negative side effects of birth control. Highly recommend going and listening to that podcast. You can find me on iTunes or on Spotify. It's called the Feed Your Flow podcast. I don't know if I've really introduced that to my YouTube channel yet, but there you go. I have a podcast. Go on over and listen to it. But she talked about it, and it was really interesting. One, hearing her experience of having all these negative effects from birth control, and then just hearing her professional sort of opinion on birth control and the potential negative pitfalls of it. So let's read what I wrote in my post. I said, your period is gone. So you go to your gyno and they say, there's nothing you can do to get your period back. We will just put you on birth control, and then later on we'll put you on IVF fertility treatments. Yay! Okay. So many things I want to say about this. So let's dive into this topic of birth control so that you can make a more informed choice in regards to whether you should take it or not. Perfect. I want to stop right here and just say this is not to be medical advice. I am not a doctor. I am not a dietitian. I am not a psychotherapist. I am someone who's sharing my thoughts and opinions for educational purposes. Please go and do your own research on the potential pitfalls of birth control. So, entertainment purposes only, let's continue on to this. And I think that's just an important part with anything that everyone says online. Like, be informed, do your due diligence, really start researching into it. Don't just take one person's view on YouTube as like truth. Go and look into it a little bit here. Okay, so number one, bleeding on birth control is not a real period. Rather, it is an induced withdrawal bleed. You're not ovulating. It's not a real period. So ovulation, I have other posts on this, how important ovulation is for your metabolic health. Progesterone is super, super important, and that's going to rise after ovulation. And if you don't ovulate, then you don't have the progesterone, and that's going to lead to a lot of issues here and a lot of imbalances with your estrogen and progesterone, which can lead to estrogen dominance, which leads to a lot of not fun effects. Like acne that can be due to estrogen dominance, a lot of bloating that can be due to estrogen dominance, a lot of breast tenderness that can be due to estrogen dominance. So I think that's just important to know, and that's why I say like birth control's not even a solution, because it's not getting your period back. It's inducing a bleed, so like you will have a period, but it's not the same as like hormonally and metabolically going through a period, if that makes sense. My second point is birth control disrupts communication between the brain and the ovaries so that you don't get pregnant. If you have amenorrhea, your issue is that your brain is telling you that you're not safe or healthy enough to have a period, and therefore tells your ovaries to stop production. Disrupting your body's natural communication system will not make things easier for you to actually get your period back. Does that make sense? It's like what's happening right now when you're in amenorrhea is that your hypothalamus has told your pituitary gland, hey, don't make FSH, which is follicle stimulating hormone, and don't make luteinizing hormone. And then your pituitary gland, then tells the ovaries. And so this is what's going on, is that there's a communication from the brain into your reproductive system being like, hey, something's sort of up right now. We shouldn't have a period. We shouldn't be ovulating. So then birth control is shown to, or I mean, that's what it is. It's messing up with this communication, right? It's trying to block the communication from the brain to the reproductive system so that you don't ovulate and therefore don't get pregnant and don't have a real period. So if we're trying to get our period back, why would we be taking something that is disrupting that communication even more? Again, do your own research on it. Be informed. Let's see. Okay, birth control can cause nutrient deficiencies. It's known to deplete zinc, magnesium, copper, vitamin K, vitamin C, and B vitamins. Your body is already in a depleted state from years of undereating and restriction, so taking something that will deplete you more of these vital nutrients will be synonymous with taking 5 steps back. Super important, right? It's like we're trying to nutritionally rehabilitate your body right now so that you get back into balance, and then you go and you take this thing that is like making you more depleted in some essential things like your B vitamins. I wish that this was just taught more. Again, do your research, but I think you're going to find all these things in your research. It's quite alarming. Birth control is linked to a decrease in sexual desire and libido. Hands up if you already struggle with low libido. Yeah, don't deplete this even more, girls. That was one of the most unfun side effects of having an eating disorder and being in energy debt, was that my sexual drive or my libido was gone. Absolutely 100% gone. I mean, I didn't have any hormones, so it only makes sense. So we want that to be back. That actually is a vital sign. It's a good sign to have like a high sexual drive. It means that your body's wanting to procreate, right? And procreation means that your body feels healthy. So it's good to have that. So why would we want to take something that's depleting us even more of our sexual drive when we're already depleted, most likely? So last one, or maybe 2 more. Okay. Birth control suppresses ovulation, which is a metabolic enhancing activity. No, really. When we ovulate, progesterone increases. Progesterone stimulates thyroid hormones, thus raising temperature. If we don't ovulate, we don't produce the surge of progesterone, which can slow down metabolic rate. Excuse me, I keep on burping. I had like a ginger beer for lunch, and anyways, too bubbly. If we don't ovulate, we don't produce the surge of progesterone, which can slow down metabolic rate. This can also lead to an imbalance with progesterone and estrogen, lending to estrogen dominance, which slows down metabolism further as estrogen blocks thyroid hormone secretion. Kind of already talked about that before, but yeah. Next one, unless there is some diagnosed reason as to why your period is gone, like a pituitary tumor, which you should get checked out for this stuff. Maybe you have some fibroids, maybe you have some cysts, maybe you have something going on. But if not, if there's no diagnosed reason as to why your period is gone, you can get your cycle back naturally. So again, why take the birth control when we're showing that it has all these negative side effects and it's not even a real period? Why do that when the body can get the cycle naturally when you do those things like eating more, exercising less, stop dieting, gain some weight? Those are the things that can help you get your period back. Editing me here, guys, but I wanted to mention one more thing that I don't know how I neglected to write in my post because I think it's super important, but post-pill amenorrhea is a thing. And I just think it's so funny that doctors would prescribe birth control for someone suffering from amenorrhea when one of the side effects and risk of taking birth control is amenorrhea. Just saying, a lot of girls have a hard time getting their period back, whether or not they had menstrual irregularities before, after being on birth control. So that's just an important thing that I thought I should just throw in here. Again, do your own research on all of this. It's actually quite fascinating when you start asking more questions. Anyway, so then I go on to say, the intention with this post is not to shame anyone who is on birth control, rather to bring awareness to this quickly prescribed cure to regulating hormones, because I see too many women thinking that birth control is the only way. Yeah, so I wanted to point that out too. I don't want anyone to feel bad or wrong that they are on birth control. I simply just wanted to share that to inform you guys to do more research, so that you don't, end up like Loren. She went on birth control and then she ended up having an escalation of health problems that ensued after. And that's not just one story. There are thousands, millions of women out there who have had negative effects with birth control. So I think that is just, it's important to do your due diligence and to really study things before you get into it. Talk to your doctor more about it. Really ask them, like, what is the negative effects of this? So thirsty, sorry. So yeah, I just wish that more women knew that they can get their period back when they support their body. So I hope that was really helpful. Like I said, follow me at Flow with Chlo, because there's a lot of posts like this where you're going to be able to really just learn a lot of cool information about your body so that you can feel empowered in how to take care of yourself better. If you are interested in working one-on-one together to get your period back, to have that like hand holding, to have that support, and to feel like you have that like sense of direction of where to go and be given certain tools to help mitigate the anxiety and the fear of this like whole process, there's an application form down below in the bio of this video, and you can fill out the application form. And then I'll get back to you. You can always also email me, contact.flowwithchlo@gmail.com. I'll answer to my emails as well. I mean, of course, I would be like a bad business person if I was like, and I'm not going to answer your emails. But hey, we all know that those companies exist. Dang it, I'm out of water. Okay, so I'm going to end this video here. I swear I'm starting to get like loony the more and more I do YouTube videos. So this is like my 4th one of the day. So I'm going to sign off now. I do have a client, oh my gosh, at like 3 o'clock and it's 2:45. Okay, so I'm gonna go like this video, subscribe, and I will chat with you in the next one.